Hi all, just wanted to talk operating systems pressures and parameters that you can expect if you've got a static system, a vehicle mounted setup, or a portable RO system from Ionic Systems. So they're all powered by a same electric motor, which is fixed RPM, and a vane pump coupled to that electric motor. So from a static perspective, which is fixed in one location, it will have an inlet flow and pressure, which will vary throughout the day, mainly due to demand of water flows and in that particular suburb or that location. When we travel with a vehicle mounted bit of equipment or a portable RO from location to location, flows and pressures are going to vary. So your static system or a portable system or a vehicle mounted might have stainless steel cylinders or might have plastic housings. So they're designed to operate at a maximum optimal pressure to suit that bit of kit, which will give you different performances depending on the way it's built and the specifications of that machine. If you'd like your manual, get in touch and we can supply that for you. From that static perspective, if we're at a location where the pressure is quite low and that system is not going to move, the pumps have an adjustment, and theoretically from a warranty perspective they shouldn't be adjusted. But if we did that installation at on that static system and it had low flows and pressures, we could go ahead and make an adjustment which would satisfy that pump in regards to water production and keep that nice and quiet and not chop air. But I just wanted to run you through different scenarios here with pressures, and know how to manage and know how to be able to establish at what pressures you should be operating when you see an inlet pressure on your gauge. So we have the bypass valve turned off. So in that valve turned off, it's forcing maximum water flow through and around that filter. That RO filter is supplying a bit of back pressure, and it's giving us a rough indication of flows and pressures coming into the machine. So we've got about 60-65 psi coming in here. The RO is providing a bit of back pressure with the electric motor turned off. So when we turn the electric motor on, we can see an increase in the pressure gauge, and it's going to sit about 150-155 psi and give us X amount of pure water out. So the more you use your system, the more you'll get to understand that we'll see a inlet pressure, and we'll know roughly once the system is powered up and the bypass is in a closed position where that should sit. So as we travel around, obviously pressures are going to vary, and to be able to know the audible noise that the pump is making, whether it's good or bad, is good to know in relation to maintaining your system. So what I've gone and done here now is I've turned the water off to the machine. Water is still flowing through this quattro. We can see a decrease in pressure, and we can hear the noisy pump. So the pump now is cutting air. It's chopping air and it's vibrating and it's not happy. So if this was a static system in one location, we could go ahead and make an adjustment and have that running at an optimal. The bypass is a spring-loaded pocket, which would satisfy the operating conditions and the flows and pressures coming in at this location. So if I turn the water flow back on, we'll hear the air being chopped by that vane pump, and the system will start to return to its normal operating pressures once that air is purged from the system. Something else I tell operators is if you go to a location and flows and pressures are a little bit on the low, if we've got 20, 30, 40 psi, instead of turning that bypass valve to a fully closed position, crack that bypass, which will allow more water through the pump and will satisfy the pump and will allow it to chop less air and return it to that that audible noise that we'd expect to hear in any of the powered systems running from Ionic today. Nice and quiet, happy and content, ready to go and make water and make you money. So to recap, know your inlet pressures with the system turned off, the bypass in the closed position. Pressures around Australia vary dramatically. I know here in Melbourne and Brighton it can be about 90 psi. Corinda and Brisbane is up around the 90, parts of Adelaide around the 90, 100. So when we get pressures up around that, the quattros, the stainless steel quattros, will sit at 190 to 200 psi. Absolutely screaming, humming away, making an amplitude of water, and the operators up there can run up to 3 poles from a stainless steel quattro in those scenarios. So just a bit of an understanding, knowing about a vane type pump. There is a relief and adjustment on that. Please don't go touch that. It is a set up by Ionic Systems to meet the requirements and the specifications of how that machine is built. Please come back to us for more information. You can get us at ionicsystems.com.au. Thanks for watching.